Hi there, everyone. It's me, Soul Silver 17 here. Let me first usual. Let me first like usual. Don't own the picture, not paid video. Alright, okay. So here's the thing. I'm not in my room. I cannot, make the persona. What if I was wanted to do it yesterday, but all this stuff came up, and I got tired. And then I completely forgot about making it, and I was gonna say, okay, I'll make it today or tonight. And then I wanted to relax for at least 2 hours, and well, there was a fire on, in my fireplace, and well, I said I'll keep it going. So I won't be. And besides, I want to sleep at 3 tonight, so I just decided to make this someone asked for part two. So, and I just want to make this part so that way I can go back to the other ones. If someone keeps on asking me about the the Omnitrix, that one's not, that one's still continuing. Like people, it's not like it's not easy because I'm trying to really think of stuff ahead of time. The next part's like, how can I say this? You know, UA basically. Bakugo, Omnitrix, being used and such. Tricks in the support course, talking to Izuku, basically like that. That's just a slight, brief explanation. Because I want to add a few things that I liked from from Ben 10 into it. But I had to figure out, because I want to add like so much, it's taking me forever to choose. Ew. Yeah, that's the reason why I have not been making. I'm trying to basically make this story even better. So yeah, probably if I able to make the persona tomorrow night, then after this video, the Omnitrix one. Alright, everyone. So I'm surprised everyone. I'm surprised people like this. That's what if I didn't know if it was going to be that good. I talked to a friend of mine. He watched it. He said there was a lot of mistakes. I didn't see none. It's just a what if. It's supposed to be for fun. So, but anyways, let's continue on. As we left off, Izuku found out he was he was going to UA. He goes, I beat all my record just by 1 point. If I used my actual quirk, I could have done it pretty easily. Oh yeah, I forgot to say this is Izuku was framed and and was time traveler part 2. I forgot to say that. Anyways, back to it. As well, he says I'm very good visitor, guys. As he basically closes his eyes and goes into the his mindscape, his the vestige world. As then he sees the first user, the second user, the third user, the fourth user, the fifth user, the sixth, the seventh, not the eighth yet. But he does have like nothing covering him. He's like, "Sup, guys?" Like they all say Izuku. He's like, "So, quick question. Do I have all your guys' quirks?" And they do say yes, but we know you want to keep them hidden, so we will keep them sealed away until the time is right. They nod. He's like, perfect. Thank you for understanding that. So, does any one of you know when you guys, well, basically he's looking at the first user when he said, basically he just says this, when he said the other quirks were enhanced, that basically they all just look at the first user looks at them, and they basically just say this, okay, so the regeneration quirk you got, well, it's pretty much, it's basically instantaneous regeneration, and I mean, well, he's like, okay, so basically if I lose an organ, I can heal it, including your brain. Izuku just blinks for a minute. So my head gets cut off, it will regrow. They go like, yes. How is that possible? Basically they say this, or technically the body will somehow in some way use its your blood to just shoots like string like and attach your head back together, or make a new body while the other body just disappears into decay. He's like, okay, shadow manipulation. Well, like, what does that do? Now they go, well, I mean, you were able to make weapons and staffs, weapons and anything out of the shadow. Even make, well, there's a lot more to the quirk. Well, we found out what it was. Like, okay, so what was it? I remember you said you could do like shadow soldiers. Like, yeah. Turns out you can. We don't know how you can do this, but all we know is that you can make shadow soldiers from people, and to be able to use their quirks. Azuka just blinks again, and he's like, "Nani?" What? So I can kill, and then basically they become a shadow soldier? Like, oh no. Like, if you're thinking about it's necromancy, you basically use the shadow of the dead person or living person, and the body will still be fine. It just covers them, and then it'll just like come right off of them, and then there's the shadow soldier. And he's like, oh, cool. Wait, how many shadows can I hold? They just shrug. That's the thing. We think there's a lot more than you can do with it than even what we do now, because of the hints. And then basically it's just the reflexes are way more heightened. The intelligence, the basically they just say like this, the godly shooter quirk. Like, godly shooter, basically you can throw or shoot anything and it always hits its target. As on the, I think third user will say like, yeah, just like that comic I read when I was young, Deadshot. And he's like, I think so. Hold up, I'll be back 1 minute. And basically Zuko gets out of his mindscape, and then, well, he looks up the comic. Yes, I made a DC character into it, but I'm just doing exactly the same thing as Deku's doing basically. And then after Zuko looks it up, he was like, huh, okay, cool. So then he comes back into the vestige where he goes like, yep, you were right, third. He's like, puts a thumbs up. And he was like, anyways, UA starts in a couple days. I mean, it's the weekend, so 2 days from now. As everyone nods, and basically Nana says, so, what are you going to do, Izuku? And he just goes, make my army. If you guys didn't hear me, he basically says, make my army. Or at least have a couple of, shadows by my side. And they all nod. So, let's just say, it was basically near the nighttime, and he tells his mom he can go out. And she goes, just be careful, Zuko. He was like, I will. Love you, Mom. And she says, love you too, sweetie. And he walks out. But, then she texts him and says, don't be back before 10. And basically texts back, he goes, got it. So, Izuku basically just, well, he uses his shadow quirk to help him move around, and it turns out he can basically manipulate the shadow, and like he thought he could only manipulate like a small shadow's body, type small shadows. No, he can manipulate any shadow, but it's hard to control. So for basically the weekend, whatever rest he has, he's gonna work more on the quirk. So yeah, and he basically goes from rooftop to rooftop to rooftop. And, well, he finds overhaul early. You're wondering why? Eri ran away. Yes, we are fucking changing this a little bit. We're changing this a little bit. What I mean by that is, Eri is not going to be anymore. With Overhaul will still be alive and looking for her. Maybe. It depends on how I want the story to go. And he basically Zuko's like, huh. Yeah, that'll work out perfectly. He's got basically Overhaul being a shadow would be perfect. Well, I mean, a shadow figure of him on my side, along with the other bullets. As then he basically Zuko was then hears Overhaul goes like, Harry, come out of hiding. Do you want me to kill whoever's with you if there is any? You don't want me to get my hands dirty now, do you? And basically he was like, cheap fucking scumbag. Time to ruin this man's career. And, well, all of a sudden, Zuko just lifts up his hand. Both of them. As, well, let's just say, the 8 bullets. Yeah. The 8 bullets, or 7, I forgot how many there were, are then all wrapped up. Basically, they were escorting Overhaul because he was coming from a meeting. And they're all like, everyone's going like, wait, what the hell's going on? As then Izuku just coming down, sliding from a wall, shadow, Claw just helping him out. And he goes, well, I mean, let's just say, Izuku's manipulating more of the shadow to change his voice to be more demonic / lower, sort of. And he's like, well, what do we have here? Oh, he's wearing a mask, too. Again, more shadows. You have shadow manipulation. Why not use this to your advantage? It's nighttime. Technically, your shadow manipulation would be the strongest. So, yeah. So, basically, Overall's like, who the hell are you to ruin my... to get out of my way? As basically everyone's trying to move, but they can't do nothing. And he's like, oh, how cute. You're all trying to escape, but... Listen, I'm here for, well, not you. As the shadows start to consume them. All of them. And then, for a few minutes, Eri hears muffling and screaming. And then she comes out, and what she sees is the mask he's wearing. But I forgot, okay. I guess a demon mask. Yeah. Well, he's basically vigilante name will be called Oni. Demon. Why not? Basically, she sees him wearing a demon mask with just a hoodie, and then Overhaul and all the 9 bullets. I mean, not 8 or 7 bullets. Wait, hold on. Sorry about that. I had to put a log. Sorry, burped. I had to put a log in the fire. So, anyways. So, basically, she just saying then all of them are being covered in something dark. As what happens next is it just moves off of the bodies. As it's then a exact version of them, but a little more. But they have no mouths, basically, just white eyes, hair, same. That's all. Basically, if anyone who's wearing a costume, they still have it. So yeah, white eyes. For Overhaul's shadow, it just looks basically white eyes, mask, white outline, black. It has a lot more detail. Basically, clothing are basically the outline of it's all white. They're black, basically. And then he goes, "Huh, interesting. Didn't expect it to become like this." And Overhaul's like, "Ew, what did you do?" And he's like, "Oh, seems when I do this to people that are still alive, I may drain their stamina. Interesting. Do you feel like your life is at threat? You're dying? Are you perfectly fine? How many fingers am I holding up?" As Overhaul just says, 3. I'm so tired. He's like, oh, well, good. You're not dead. So, as in all the shadows that were wrapped around everyone that was not Eri, they all fall to the ground drained of energy. As then he looks over at all of his soldiers as they all bow to him. And they're like, Master, the overhaul version says, but in a more echoey voice. And he says, huh, so you all can talk. Great. I guess the living ones have way more potential. Make note of that. Alright. So, my soldiers, we're gonna make an army for what's to come. Alright? And I need to know, do I have your undying loyalty? As all of them say, yes, our master. And he goes, great. Now, get in my shadow, and whenever I call for you, you'll basically come out when needed. Or basically protect me, I guess. And we're gonna have to change your looks up. It's a good thing you're in shadows. As they all nod. As they go to a shadow, and Zuku, and after all of them do so, he looks at Eri. Eri's seeing him, terrified, scared, and he just walks over to her, overall still, barely awake. He goes, no! Stay away from her! You bastard! And then Deku stops and looks back at him. And then he just says this. Who decided that? And legit, he goes to Harry, kneels down, and he goes like, I am a friend. Come on. It's safe with me. As she hold out, she's basically holding out her hand, because Izuku's holding out his hand, and she's begrudgingly, pulling her arm back because she doesn't know what to do. And and then he basically just pats her head, and he goes like, it's fine. I promise. And then she does have her arms around his, arm. He was like, gotcha. And he was like, I'll get her back. Overall saying, as Izuku looks at him, he was like, you won't. Never in a million years you'll get her. I promise you that. He's like, how do you? He goes, easy. I'll help her. I'll change her look. And I'll make sure you will never, ever harm her. Which was like, what? How? And then he just points sort of bandages on her. He's like, and Overall's thinking, shit. So, Izuku, all of a sudden, basically, kind of not even doing nothing, but he's just standing there as the eyes of the mask are glowing brighter, as the shadows consume him and Eri, and he's gone. Basically, Overhaul, is unconscious along with everyone else. And well, let's just say Zuko's on top of a building with Eri. And he was like, now then, what's your name, little girl? She goes, it's Eri. He's like, well then, Eri, I'll tell you my name when we're not outside. I have some people, what should I say? People to get acquainted with. As Izuku does, jump from building to building with Eri, but then when he lands on a building that has a shadow, and he basically just standing, all of a sudden something basically moves, like underneath his feet. He's being brought up. Eri's freaking out a little bit as what he's on is basically a, well, I can say this, a mythological creature, basically, a Pegasus. As he goes like, onward, Pegasus! As it just rides, just flies off with him on it. And, well, he does go to a location he knows about, because he's remembering places with a villain that was in prison, basically, that had a pretty rough life. Let's just say, he wasn't a villain, like a real villain, he was more of a info broker villain. He did stuff to survive, like steal stuff, and gave money to people if needed, but he also sold them information, and they gave them a certain price. So, Izuku was holding Eri, basically, lands on this in this alleyway, as the guy's giving this info to someone. And he goes, "That's everything. 255 yen." Basically, he's like, 255? That's a steal. He was like, "We both know you won't know what I meant." He's like, I know. Million. Here. The rest of it's being wired. He goes, huh? Oh, yeah. I'm giving you an extra. Now I have 255 mil on me. See ya. As the guy's having pleasure doing business with you. As when he looks, he sees Izuku with Eri. He goes like, huh? Who are you? He goes, Oni. Demon? Why are you... As in, well, multiple shadow beasts come out of, the shadows that because he was around. And he's like, okay, I get it. And then they disappear. He's like, jeez, a funny way to make a, entrance or introducing yourself. You did, someone I knew always said, fear is the best way to get your point across. And he goes, not many people say that, but my old man did. Wait, how do you even know that saying? Like I said, not many people know it. It's only for ex-mafias, or ex-villains, or villains in general, or crooks, gang members, like your old man, eh, Sakasa? As he goes like, what the, how did you, as Izuku, removes the mask, and he was like, trust me, I know you from a time where we both were in a place together. And you especially know a guy who can time travel. He goes, Soji! Wait. You're the kid he was talking about. Come on. And basically Izuku's confused. He's like, what the? Look. You probably don't know this, but Soji, he basically tells me stuff. What futures I'm gonna meet people. And I never met you in my last, technically his last life before, yes, you came here. Well, technically, new timeline, like, old life of yours, time travel back, guessing. He goes, yeah. So, what? And he's, look, I didn't understand why Soji asked me to reach the front of these people, but now I understand. They're for you. And, what Izuku sees is 3 to 4 different files. In which he was like, shit. So when he goes over, he basically sees these are supposed to be villains. No ordinary villains, though. These are basically from the League of Villains. Yeah, he's basically gonna cut off some of the heads of the snake, or multiple snakes. or basically make them shadows be his, and then leave them. Basically. He doesn't know yet. Basically, what he finds is, though, these are people who actually work for All for One, that are part of the League of Villains, and he goes, huh. So, basically, Soji came back here in time, or even saw the future and asked you to do this for me. Interesting. So he flips through the paper, and this is the backstory of Toga Himiko. And in the end of it, all the while, he was holding Eri when he was reading it, and at the end of it, though, he crushed the paper up. Because she's technically a villain at this moment. No, wait, she would become a villain later because of the Stain arc. As after Stain, she became one. As he just goes, bastard family. Which every slave thinks like, crap, almost forgot she was here. Then the next file is on Kirigiri. There's nothing on him. Nothing to be specific. It's like he just owns a bar, that's all. Until, well, that's what you would think, but Zuko knew already who Kirigiri was. Obora. Next is Dabi. Or should I say on Toya Todoroki, his story. He hadn't really changed that much of a past he had. But hey, at least his shadow he thinks will be good. He really should try to help him at least. Talk to him. And next, and finally, Gigantic Machina? Yeah, Gigantic Machina. I think that's how you pronounce it. Gigantic Machina. Oh my god, I think I said that name wrong. Put on. Okay, it's basically Gigantomachia. I cannot say the name right. I've tried saying like 5 times already. So please don't leave that in the comments. So I'll say it right. So, anyways, all they know is basically, all the guy I found out was he's in the woods. He works for All for One. Basically, he got some weird quirks. Zuko's thinking if he gets rid of him now, it'd be a lot more easier time. You have to do that on a weekend. Then maybe he can actually turn his corpse into a shadow. He ain't no ordinary hero no more. He's thinking about it now. He's like, wow, prison really did change me. Cool. Ish. So yeah, he basically tells the guy to keep a hold of basically Toga and Gigantomachina. He can take care of Kirigiri and Dabi. And basically find the location of him. Gigantomachina. Which the guy nods. Zuko leaves with Eri. Oh, sorry. Basically, the mask appears, and he just disappears. He gets back home around 10 o'clock on the dot. Which, when Inko says, Zuko, you're home. Who's the kid? He's like, oh, this is Eri-chan. Basically, I found her with some strange guy. Basically, I don't know what she was being used for, but she was bandaged up. So, I mean, she bumped into me, and I was able to run away from the guy pretty quickly. So, I mean, then I hid, and then he couldn't find her, so he went in a different direction, and I ran all the way here. Alright, so in which she is shocked by, and well, basically just says she's gonna be with him. You know, like she's basically gonna sleep on the couch, and he's gonna be nearby. But she goes, okay. So she gives her a blanket. Oh, picture. Don't. Okay. Yep. I knew. I almost dropped my phone. I basically hit it out of my hand, and then I caught it, and yeah, that's what happened. All right. So, anyways, so Inko gets a blanket and a pillow, and Zuko is on that night, sleeping on the couch with Eri on the pillow. As you know, she's waking up middle of the night. She looks around, doesn't know what happened, and then she sees Izuku, and she's freaking out. And basically, all of Izuku's like hears it, open up his eyes immediately, and he goes, "Hey, calm down." As the mask appears again on her, he goes like, "It's me," basically, and she goes, "What?" It was as the mask disappears, and he goes like, "See, it's me. Everything's fine, Eri. Everything's fine, okay? You're safe." She goes, "Really?" And he goes, "Uh-huh. He's never gonna hurt you, I promise." He goes, "How do you..." He goes, "Well, your quirk isn't a curse. It's a blessing. It's very special, Eri. You can use it for so many good things. You just need to be taught how to use it properly." And she goes, "How do you..." He goes, "No. I have some experience. But anyways, hold on." As a shadow does go over her, and then there's a Eri version shadow. And basically Eri feels tired and falls back to sleep. And then he just looks at the Eri shadow and he goes like, "Now, basically, learn how to use the quirk properly. And then, well, help out Eri whenever you can with it, okay?" As the shadow nods, and then says, "Yes." Basically, that's all. And so, in that night, the shadows basically rewinding anything that's non-important or basically non-living, like a pencil. Rewinds, fast forwards, basically. Well, no, actually, say like a pencil that was almost about to be thrown away because it was unused. It rewind it basically to the point where it's full, and that it didn't even look like it was even sharpened. So yeah, that goes on for that night, and then the next day, which Inko and Eri and Zuko are talking and Eri doesn't tell everything, but just enough to make Inko want her to stay there, and so he goes, "Shadow Eri," as basically it comes out, and how he just realized it's taller. Changeling too. He was like, which the shadow just says, "Do not worry, I'm still," he was like, "Great." He noticed the horn is gone. He's like, "Huh." So, yes, so what do you learn about her quirk? Or your quirks, basically, as the shadow explains everything. In which Izuku understands. So, all we have to do is he set his train, which Ingo goes like, you sure about that?" He's like, "Yeah." So basically he looks at Eric, goes, "Are you ready?" She does not, and they start training. Basically. So, after that, we're just gonna skip to the first day of UA. And the ball throw will be the final part. Basically, for part two, the after the ball throw is like the stopping point, like the end point, you know, because I'm falling asleep, so I'm trying not to. But anyways, so when Hazuka was looking at school, he goes like, huh, feels weird being back here. Alright. Wait. Oh, wait, shit. Hold up. As in, he basically uses his own shadow to teleport back home. And he quickly goes over to Eri and basically shadow manipulates some stuff to basically dye her hair, even change the hair look. Ooh. Sorry. Even basically covering the hair, he goes like, perfect. I mean, not hair, the horn basically, he goes, perfect. So now they won't notice you if you guys go out. And she does nod, and he does leave. So basically, he gets into class, everything goes the same. He doesn't, come up to him, neither does Bakugo. And, well, basically, I do just want to do, like, the ball throw as soon as possible, but, yeah. Actually, yeah. So, 30 minutes pass. Wait. Sorry, but wait, I forgot something. So basically, when Zuko sees everything the same, as he sees Jiro, he goes, "Hey, Jiro, what's up?" She goes, Izuku, hey, he goes, so, how's everything here? She goes, it's fine. How about you? You're like, it was pretty easy to find it. Anyways, so, did anything fun for the weekend or something? As then Jiro just says what she did wasn't really much of anything, and Zuko just tells her at least 2 things that he's done. That's it. So yeah. And then basically, SL comes in. Same old speech, like in canon, and then everyone does the same, but Zuko gets up and leaves right away. In which SL goes like, be like him. Go. As everyone listens. So, what happens next is this. Same thing happens with me, but basically my dad does exactly the same thing. Izuku kicks him in the head, knocking him out. And he's like, this is gonna be troublesome. So, basically, after Izuku leaves, Kirishima goes like, okay, did anyone just see that, or was that just me? Which was like, I don't know. But anyways, let's get going. As they do. And what the guy sees is, well, multiple things. Well, they see basically multiple things like this. It's not just basically Hizawa was there. It is All Might, Nezu, and President Mike, along with Midnight. And they basically, All Might goes like, hello there, students. Nezu says, hello there. And President Mike goes like, greetings, little listeners. And Midnight's there too. So yeah. Wait. Okay, so if you guys are wondering what I was trying to say earlier, basically, or whatever, Meta got kicked in the face. Not dead. He told the girls, they basically don't worry about him and just stay back, basically. And they do. And then basically, the teachers are there. So everyone's pretty confused, as Azawa says. They're all here to see what you can do and then help you improve on it later. as Izuku does not, and well, how can I say this right? All Might does not find anything until Izuku, in which it does not go well for All Might because, well, he can basically just disappear anytime he wants. So yeah, but anyways, enough about that. So, okay, so basically that's how it goes, like, alright then, you, since you had the highest grade on the written and final portion, you go first. As Izuku nods to Aizawa, he's like, okay, just don't blow it up. Jesus Christ. So, after basically, okay, bug, whatever. But, anyways, after Izuku just, grabs a ball, he just asks him how far or how hard he wants him to throw it. He says any amount. And what he does, and it basically only went into the ocean. So, yeah. So everyone was shocked by this, and as always, it says, "Holy cow!" All Might smiling along with President Mike and Midnight, and so yeah, everything goes exactly the same. Our Chaco won, and then well, it's just Suzuku's triumphant takeover of this event. So yeah. So anyways, so Izuku gains first. Bago's pissed. He tries to throw an explosion, but Izuku just kicks him in the forehead, sending him flying into a tree. And well, after that, you know. So yeah. Anyways, I think this is a good place to stop. I'm sorry if I'm confusing everyone. I'm just starting to get tired, so please understand that. Anyways, bye everyone.